Hello everyone. Today I thought that I would take a crack at trimming my older version of the Star Tarot. Oops, that was very glary there. Sorry about that. So basically I got this secondhand a while back. I wanted the older copy because the newer copy has, from what I understand, thicker cardstock, quite tall, large cards. It's matte. I don't mind the gloss so much, but the reason why I wanted the older version was because I wanted to cut them to be borderless and have a smaller version that's easier on my hands. However, I have now started to think about just trimming it down so that it is a little bit shorter and a little bit, so that I still leave a bit of the blue border, because I actually don't mind the blue border too much. I don't know, is what I'm trying to say, exactly how I'm going to trim this yet. I think I'm going to start out with what I just said, and then if I don't like that, I might end up trimming it all the way down and writing on the cards what they are, because I will need, for example, the Four of Pentacles to be you know, for example, on this card, I would not be able to tell that's the Four of Pentacles without some kind of indication, you know, from the text. So, yeah, I haven't worked with this deck much yet at all, because I have a hard time shuffling it. It sticks together quite a lot because of the gloss. And like I said, the newer version seems to be quite large as well, but it's already borderless, so I can't trim it. So that's why when I saw a second-hand deck pop up, I decided to scoop it up and give it a go. And today I feel like trimming a deck, so let's get started. Now I am using the Dawn Michelle method by using my guillotine and creating a kind of border, or what you would call it, for the cards to kind of cradle into, so that I will get an exact cut every time. I just need to figure out how much of the card I want to cut, and to do that I also need to check that most of the cards actually have about the same, that the text comes down to about the same height, so that I don't accidentally cut something off. That one seems to be, let's measure that. So about, yeah, 6 millimeters from the top there. Let's take a random here and have a look. Yes, this one's 4-ish, 5-ish, which means the text part, it comes higher up than the numbers. That's a good thing to know. Note. Let's also check this princess card, if it's the same there. Yeah, it's the same there, really. About 5 millimeters. So I wouldn't be taking much more than maybe 2 or 3 millimeters from each, because I don't want to cut all the way to the edge of the letters either. I will want to have like a bit of a border there, so as to not make it feel cramped. So if I were to say I want to have a 2mm leeway above the letters, that would mean that I will be taking 1, 2, 3mm off the top, and then probably somewhere around the same. About 4mm from the bottom. But I will be cutting all of the tops at the same time, and then all of the bottoms at the same time, and the same with the sides. Let's also have a look at if the picture is actually central here. So let's see, we've got 1.1 centimeters there, and 1 centimeter exactly, a little bit more on the other side. So there's like a 0.1 or like a 1mm difference there, but that makes a lot of difference when you are cutting just a few millimeters away. Right, so I will go around and check some more of these measurements, and then I will be back when it is time to do the first cut. Okay, so we are quite lucky here actually, because it looks like the card size, as it were, is almost exactly the length of this guillotine, which means the measurement part is going to be quite easy when I want just 3mm off. So I will just move this card 3 notches down. So that's 1mm, 2mm, 3mm, which takes us exactly to 13 centimeters, which is really handy, because then I don't need to be too worried about the whole thing. I'm just going to double check with a longer let's have a look with this. So I should have a separate ruler somewhere, but I can't find it now, and I don't want to start looking for it. So 13 centimeters. Let's take this off so that I can see what I'm doing. Need to change the tape anyway. So 13 centimeters would take us to right about, I don't know if that's going to show up for you, but it will take us to right about where I want the line to go. Can you see that? So I think I'm pretty happy with that actually. Could even take it down a little bit more, but let's start with that. So let's put the ruler at 13 centimeters, which is going to be a bit difficult when we've got it right on the edge, but it's not going to be impossible. Oops. Also, be careful when you are putting down the ruler, because it's so easy for it to slide out of place when you put the tape down. And I always make sure to line up the ruler so that it hits the same place, both on the top bit here and the bottom bit here, and that it follows the line as closely as I can so that I don't make a cut that is wonky. There we go. I think that's just about right. Let's have a quick look. Oops. Yeah, I think that looks good. Also, what you can do is check that the card comes in alignment with one of these lines on the guillotine as well, just in case something is off, and that it's flush with the thing, with the ruler, I mean, when you put it flush up against this line here. All right, let's make the first cut and hope for the best that the cardstock is okay for I don't have an extra card, so I can't test how the cardstock reacts when you cut into it, but I've seen this deck modded before, so I usually press down on this bit here while I cut, and then I press down a bit on the card as well, just to keep it steady, then make a confident cut. All right, so we've got the first cut made and it's looking good. We have a little bit of space on top, which also leaves a bit of leeway for other cards that might be a bit printed a little bit higher up. Let's take one of the other cards. Was it the King or Queen card that had... Let's do the Queen, because the Queen also has the text that's quite high up. Not that it matters now because it's too late. I should have checked the other cards, but it looks good. Let's do it. Yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, so now we've got the whole top trimmed off, and I am now going to trim the bottoms. Instead of going for the sides, I will do those last, but I like to stop and check that everything has been cut level. The deck itself is a little bit used because I bought it secondhand, but I can see here that there is at least one card that seems to be poking out, so I will be taking that card out before I move the ruler from the guillotine. Let's see if there's any more that stand out. It's not such a big deal at this point because we are going to also be cutting the bottom left yet, and that usually tends to level things out. There are a few cards here that I feel could be more even, but on the whole it is pretty good. So this one seems to be a little bit, yeah, you can see that's cut a bit wonky. Must have slipped while I was cutting it, so we'll just put it back there and redo this cut. Yeah, look, that came off now, even though I put it back exactly where I've had it before. It must have just slipped while I was cutting it earlier, because I was probably in a hurry or didn't focus, and now that's a lot better. Let's put it in the middle just so that we can see it properly. Yeah, that's not sticking out anymore now. Are there any others that I want to look at before we... There are a few that could be better. So I will go through and do those, and then I will come back. All right, so now I am quite happy with the cuts of the top, and now we will measure out and start cutting the bottoms. So in this case now, I feel like I can trust, because the numbers and the texts up top were all pretty straight and well laid out on the cards. So I feel like I can trust that the... Oh no, I can't. I was just about to say I can trust that the texts on the bottom are going to be in a good place, but look at this. Look at the difference here between the Justice and the Temperance card. How the Temperance text is a lot lower than the Justice text. This is what I mean why it's annoying to try and get it perfect when you are cutting into cards yourself. I don't know, the images themselves seem to be even, so I don't understand why they feel the need to mess up on the placement of the text. Hang on, so we've got 7 millimeters from the bottom of the J, and we've got 6 millimeters from the bottom of the T, but let's actually do it from the P, because the P is further down. So we've got oh, okay, we've got 5 millimeters. It's from the bottom of the P to, so there's a 2 millimeter difference there, which makes a lot of difference when you are cutting just millimeters off. And then we can also see here that the cups here are pretty far down. I think actually maybe this layout is the more usual one. The Devil text is quite in the middle, so as the Priestess. It's more just that the Justice text is for some reason really high up. I'm just going to quickly scan through the cards and find the bottommost text, just so that I don't end up with one card where half the word is cut off. You know. So just choose the one that has the text placement the lowest, and then everything else will, or the closest to the edge, I mean, and then everything else will sort itself out. So yeah, I think we will base the cut from the Magician and the Pentacles, maybe? Hang on, is there another one? No, I think the Swords, we'll have to measure those. So we've got 6 millimeters. 6 millimeters, so that doesn't matter. Let's see from the bottom of the G here in the Magician, we've got little shy of 5 millimeters. So that means that if we want the same amount of space here, which is 2 millimeters, then we are cutting also 3 millimeters off of the bottom, and that should be okay, which means we will be saving 6 millimeters of length altogether, which means that I will be it would be much easier for me, it's already much easier for me to grip these cards. So 3 more millimeters on the length will mean that I might even be able to riffle shuffle this deck, and that would be rather neat. So I'm just going to go ahead and shift this 3 millimeters forwards, because at the moment we have it at 13. We want to cut off, double check that, we want to cut off 3 millimeters from the bottom as well. Let's find the strength card here. Yeah, we want to cut 3 millimeters off the bottom, and so that means we only need to move this 3 millimeters forwards. So that means 1, 2, 3, which means we want to get it there. Now let's check. Yeah, that's looking good. It is feeling not quite flush. Hang on, there is something that's not quite right. What I'm looking for is for the cards to be flush against this as well as flush against this, so that there is no way for the card to move when I'm cutting. All right, I think that's good. It's looking pretty even. Yeah. All right. So there we go. We've got a 2 millimeter leeway on both the top and the bottom. All right, let's continue with the cutting. Okay, so now we've got both the top and the bottom of the cards cut, and it's looking pretty good and flush at the moment. I was sitting here thinking while I was cutting that I do want to cut the sides of the card, of the border as well, because they just feel very, very wide. But I think what I will do, first I will try and just hand shuffle this now and see how that feels. They are still quite tall for me. I mean, regular sized tarot decks feel tall to me. Let's see if I can reach to riffle. That is too big of a stretch, unfortunately. Oh, they do need to be a little bit less tall for me to do that properly. That hurt. Right, well, how would it be if I left them this width and shuffle them like so. Well, they're a little bit too stiff in order to do that. Right, so there isn't really any more space for me to shave off the top and bottom here. Tell you what I'll do. I will try and corner around one card and see how I feel about the width then. Let's try the medium one first. No, you know what? I think I want to cut them a little so that they are a little bit less wide. Yeah. So how should I do this then? How much do I want to take off? Maybe we can take off 5 millimeters, so half of it. Is that too much? Maybe 4. Sorry for the noise outside. I've got my balcony door open because it's just nicer to have some air in here. All right, I think I've decided to leave about 5-6 millimeters on each side. So I will be taking I will be taking 4 millimeters off. But hang on, there's 1 millimeter more on this side, so I just need to be sure that I'm cutting right. So hang on, we've got 5, 6, so then we are cutting 1, 2. I need a pen or a pointer of some kind because it's difficult to see the black against the dark background. So we've got 6 there, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters. 1, 2. Yeah, so we'll be taking 4 millimeters off of this side and 5 millimeters off of this side. I just wanted to make sure that my eyes weren't blurry or seeing wrong. So we will start with the 4 millimeter side. So I will just be redoing the measurements on here, and then I'll start cutting on the sides. Yeah. Right, so we've got, right at this moment, we have an 8.9 size card. 8.9 and we want to cut 1, 2, 3 and 4, leaving us with 8.5. So let's put this at 8.5. Right, there we go. Look at that. That is looking more like it. Is everything looking level? I think this one might be a little bit wonky still. The more thorough you are at this stage, the better the cut is going to come out. So it's a good idea to spend a little bit of extra time making sure that the ruler is exactly where you want it to be. I got this better before. Alright, I think that is it. We have some wiggle room because we're leaving quite a lot of space. Alright, let's do the first cut then. Ooh, am I? No, I'm not cutting too much. Alright, let's just do it. It's done. Ah! Oh, did I take too much? Let's have a look. I cut just a little bit over 4, so we are on track of what we said we were going to do. I think that's going to be good. All right. It's too late to change my mind anyway. All right. We just need to make sure that we are cutting the same side off of each one, and that we're not turning it around in the middle. So the numbers needs to be up top when we are cutting at the moment. Oh, there we go. Nearly cut the wrong side. All right, so now I have cut all sides but one, and I have just moved this, tricked around with it a little bit to get it to have the exact same amount of border on each side. If you remember, this side had 1 millimeter more border than this side, so I'm cutting more off of this side than I did off of this side. So now I have, as you can see, recut that side a couple of times and done some measurements, and now I've got everything set up to cut the last side of the deck. So this time I'm cutting the cards upside down to get this side here, and double checking that everything is doing what it should be doing, and cutting. And I think that looks good. See a little bit less on that side? Nah, I think it's good. All right. I'm just going to continue cutting and meet you back here for the corner rounding. Okay, so now we've got all of the borders cut, and here's the the borders that have been cut off. Now, I haven't seen anybody mod this particular deck this way before. Usually people cut all the borders off to get it borderless. I am, however, quite happy with this. For now, at least. I think, I mean, I really had my heart set on cutting all the borders off, but this cardstock seems to be a little bit on the sensitive side. So I think that by leaving some of this blue border on, dark blue border, starry night border really, I can edge it with something like a dark blue or a purple, and it will take care of any scuff marks on the side that might appear. And I think maybe purple, because the text and the little inside border is like a lavender color. I think I actually have a marker already that will work really well. So we now just need to decide on the corner size. What I usually do when I'm not sure is that I start and corner one card in the smallest size, and then if I don't like that, then I try the medium size, and if I don't like that, I know that I will prefer the large. I think, I reckon that I will be wanting the medium border on this, but just to be sure, I will start with the S. Actually, is the small one? No, I'm gonna go with the medium. I immediately just felt that now. Yeah, I think medium is the way to go. Let's put that down, see how we feel. Yeah. I feel like the medium corner best kind of goes with the corner size on the inside border here as well. Trying to imagine what it would look like with the large border, but I don't think that's gonna go. So I will corner around this in the medium border, and then we can have a little flip through. Hey, all right, so now we've got them all corner rounded, and I think I have decided to edge it in this lilac-y color. So I've got these two here. This one is a highlighter by Faber-Castell called Shimmering Violet. There. And this is by Distress Ink in Milled Lavender. This one is very light though, so I think that it's going to be the Shimmering Violet. And I'm not actually sure how much ink this one still has on it. I've edged a few decks with it, so but let's give it a whirl anyway. Oh, there is still some ink left, but it is rather difficult to get a good coating. Good coating on, because I think it's running out of ink. Yeah. And this one is not going to show up when it's just the one. I'm gonna have to do several to see that this one also dries to a very light purple. So let's do a few of these with this one instead. I think this is going to be a lot easier, because I love edging decks with highlighters because it's just so easy and quick, and you can build up the color in stages. So you can do one coat and then do another once it's dried, and you can get a deeper color in stages, which I love. This one supposedly has some shimmer in it, but it doesn't really show up when you edge decks. I was thinking maybe I could first put this like purple, and then put a light coat of like silver glitter ink pad on. That would look really cool. Right, let's put these together so that we can get an inkling of how it's going to look. Just need to find the colored edge sides. This is really difficult to see on camera, but once you've put a few of them together, you can actually look at what it would look like edged. And I'm really enjoying the color of this, and it dries really fast as well, so I don't have to worry about it rubbing off on my fingers or anything. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick up that color very well, but it's looking almost exactly like this color here on the text, which is exactly what I was after. How lucky is that I'm just happen to have that marker at home. All right, so I'm gonna sit down in front of the telly, I think, and do some edging, and then I can show you the finished product once I'm done. I'll just do a couple of cards here in front of you now so that you can see my process. Basically all I do is I take the marker and I hold it loosely in my hand, and I just very loosely pull the marker along the edge. Sorry, was that out of frame? There we go. First one done. I've edged quite a few decks with a selection of these markers, and it's such a quick and easy process, and you don't need to wait for it to dry because it's not going to bleed over to anything. It doesn't hardly ever bleed on any cards, and in this case, even if it did, it wouldn't make a difference because the color is lighter than the actual deck. So yeah, very quick and easy. Might end up doing 2 coats, but I think actually 1 coat might be enough on this deck. We'll see. All right, so a few hours later, and I have now edged the deck. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I feel like the camera isn't quite picking up the right color, but in real life, at least, I think that this really lovely violet lavender color is just matching this deck so well. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Let me try and adjust the lighting a little bit. Maybe it will show up a little bit better. But yeah, overall, I'm super happy with how this mod turned out. Eventually, I think I might be able to trim it down to just the artwork. I mean, some of them are very obvious. This one is you can quite clearly see this is the 9 of Cups, 6 of Swords, and I think most of them are okay. This one I would struggle if I didn't have it to know that this is the King of Pentacles, if I hadn't, you know, learned that by heart. So that's why I wanted to leave the titles and the numbers on for now. But I needed it to be smaller so that I could handle the deck. See, this one here, it says it's the Knight of Pentacles, but I could have, well, with the horse, it's more obvious, but I could have just as easily thought that it's the King of Pentacles. Yeah. I think most of the majors are quite obvious. Hang on, no, there is... I'm a bit confused here now. Have I not noticed this so far? So we have knights, we have kings, but we also have queens and princesses and princes. Or maybe I think maybe the swords and perhaps the wands have princes, and the other 2 suits have princesses, maybe? This is the wrong video to figure this out. I know, I'm just showing you the mod. But yeah, you can tell I haven't really used this deck yet. So we have another knight. We have a queen. I love this 7 of Swords. It's one of my... I think this is one of the most gorgeous 7 of Swords I've ever seen. So pretty. Yeah, here we have a princess of Pentacles. This Ace of Pentacles is just so good as well. Can't wait to get to know this deck better. This Death card is gorgeous. Queen. You can tell already I'm handling this deck a lot more easily from this little mod as well. I love this 6 of Cups. It's so good. I also love how there's so many bears in this deck, and that's quite unusual actually. I don't often see bears in tarot decks, which I think is a shame. Here's another princess. So I think pentacles and cups have princesses, and then, like I said, wands and swords have princes. Let's just flip through the rest of the deck. Maybe we'll see that better. Love this strength card as well. So gorgeous. And this high priestess gives me chills. It's 2 of Cups, and this Hermit is one of my all-time faves. So yeah, there you have it. That's my modded Star Tarot, for now at least, with its little purpley backs. And oops, now I have half of the deck a bit messed up. Never mind. I hope you liked this little mod video, and yeah, let me know what you think of the mod. Have you modded this deck before? Did you leave any borders on, or did you take the whole thing off? And what did you do? Did you write the titles on the cards, or did you just memorize it beforehand? Right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and be well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.